Hi, folks. It's Keith, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor Quebec, Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Echo India, which is a contest call and I sometimes use for Morse code. So today I wanted to look at a topic that I've touched on a few times before. Now, in some cases, I've done other videos which will focus on a few of these items, and this time I just thought I would put it all together. A lot of this video comes from questions I get when I teach a class, which I do for the Long Island CW Club at the beginner level, and we also have a joint class later with the second level. Now, the questions that we get are pretty logical. A lot of the time, it's simply people being nervous, and that's fine too. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So I thought I would look at some of these issues that we run into. So when you sign up to learn Morse code, you're making a commitment, right? Now that commitment at the very, very minimum, if you're doing it in a class, is whatever length of time that organization has set for you. So, CWOPs will have one. The Long Island CW Club has a format that they follow, which will get you through the code and so on. And there are lots of other smaller clubs out there that are doing the same thing. So you are making a commitment. If you learn on your own and you don't use an organization of any type, then you have a commitment, but it's a lesser one, right? If you miss a few days, is anyone going to question that? If you just give up halfway through, is anyone going to care other than you? But there is a big bonus, a big plus when you do it with a group. And as you get to learn other operators, they operate the same speed as you, the same skill level as you. So you always have someone you can talk to when you get off, when you eventually do get on the air. And that's really the focus here. Just get on the air. The problem with most people when they study Morse code or learn Morse code is that they overstudy. They just keep going back over it and over it and over it and over it. Eventually, you're going to get bored. It's as simple as that. And if you don't get on the air, then not only will you lose the skills that you've acquired, but there's a tendency just to give up. And there's no need to. Never let the code beat you. I think that was a phrase I picked up from Howard, who was one of the founders of the LICW. Never let the code beat you. So we lose our way because we lose our motivation. We lose our way because eventually we have to get on the air. And that's when the big fear sets in. Oh my goodness, how am I going to sound? Oh my goodness, maybe I'll make a mistake. Remember when you first got your radio and you were going on to phone or single sideband and you held that mic in your hand for the very first time? Did you just get on the air and talk, or did you sit and hold that mic for a while, waiting for that perfect opportunity to say something? It's not much difference. The only difference is you're not using a mic, you're using a Morse code key. So everyone goes through this. This is normal. So key fright, mic fright, same thing. It's the fear of looking stupid or the fear of making a mistake. So let's address some of that stuff. Number one, if you overstudy, what's going to happen? You're going to start analyzing every time you copy something. And, if you're doing exercises on a web page, for instance, and maybe there's 45 characters and numbers that are sent to you. So you sit down, you add them all up, and geez, you got 44 out of 45. Isn't that disgusting? Maybe you got 36. That's not bad either. But we tend to emphasize on the perfection. There is very little perfection in Morse code on the air. In a classroom situation, sure, you can get 100% when you copy code. Are you going to get that on the air? Probably not. There's noise, there's atmospheric noise, there's people tuning up, there's people moving into the frequencies beside you, there's people actually landing right on your frequency because they can't hear you, but you can hear them. So the idea that you have to be absolutely perfect before you get on the air, no. Now, that's something we run into when we teach, because at the first level, or beginner's carousel number 1, which is for the LICW club, we get lots of people that will take that 18 letters over and over and over again. So, 6 weeks, then another 6 weeks, then another 6 weeks. No need to. If you're getting most of the letters most of the time, that's good enough. Go up to the second level. And after you're finished the second level, go to the third level, which is get on the air. So overstudying, trying to be perfect all the time, that is a mistake in itself. Getting frustrated because suddenly you're not learning as much as you were. All those letters which were coming to you so easily, now they're not. Now it's a real struggle. There are letters that you should know that you're messing up. Just understand that's perfectly normal. It's called a plateau, a learning plateau. Your brain needs a little bit of a rest. So relax. Take a day off if you have to, then come back. You're going to find things will go. If you keep at it and keep at it, even if it's frustrating for a few days, maybe even a week, all of a sudden the code will start flowing again. So expect these problems, expect these issues. Another fear that we have when we go to get on the air, and one of the ones that stops us from doing it, is the fear that you're going to be too slow. Why? Because we see movies where, boy, that code is just flying across the screen. We can turn on our radios and spin the dial, and there's people sending 30 words a minute, 40 words a minute, 20 words a minute. And we don't sound like that. So there's this fear that, geez, I'm not good enough because I can't send that fast. Well, when they started, they were probably around the same speed that you are. So don't worry about it. You don't need to talk to someone going that fast. Lots of people will do slow speed code. If you were to log in, say, to the SKCC, which is a great site where you want to get your confidence, you want to make your first contacts, log in, post your call sign, put QRS beside it, which is slow speed, and just put down, I'd like to make my first contact, or new to CW. There will be people who will contact you because they have a message system on their site. They'll send you a message and they'll say, yeah, sure. What frequency would you like to use? How fast do you want us to go? You don't have to say 25 words per minute. You could say, can we do 10 words a minute? They'll slow down to 10 words a minute. So again, the fear of I'm not fast enough, it's nonsense. And there are a lot of people. And the more you do Morse code on the air, the more you will realize there are a lot of people that like slower speed Morse code. Another issue I find, and it comes up again, like I say, when I talk to students or sometimes in exchanges back and forth in YouTube, we spend too much time listening to computer code. So you have a work page, it doesn't matter, it could be one, there's all sorts of them online where you can go in and you can practice learning Morse code. I did it on my own at one point before joining the LICW. LICW has a practice page on their front page, on their main web page. Just go up to the right-hand corner. All right, you can see what I mean. You can use it. They don't charge you to use it. We all spend time listening and learning on a computer, learning computer code, perfect code, 100% correct code. It's not what you're going to hear. When you go on the air, you're going to hear anything but perfect code. Everybody has what we call a fist. There's a style to their sending. Some people, you will recognize them simply by the way they send certain letters. It's not perfect code. One of the things you have to do, listen to your radio. Listen to people sending code. You can do a number of ways. Spin the dial. Look for someone sending slow enough that you can copy them. And practice copying. Practice missing letters because, again, we get wrapped up in perfect code and perfect copying. On the air, you're not going to be able to do that. If you can get most of the letters that someone is sending or most of the words that someone is sending, that's probably about right. Nothing wrong with that. So listen a lot to real live CW on the air. A good place to do this is the POTA page, POTA, Parks on the Air, or what is it, POTA.app. Go there, click on spots, and it will bring up for whatever frequency you're on, 20 meters, 40 meters, whatever. It will show you who is on the air in a park. Most of the time, you're going to see the speed they're sending at. Just dial in the frequency, find a speed somewhere around 15 to 18 words a minute, and see how much you can copy. Now, POTA is a very good one. It's probably one that most of you will use for your very first contact. Why? Because the exchange is relatively straightforward and simple. Do you have to be a perfect expert to send something to a park or to have a park respond to you? Not at all. Know how to send your call sign. Try and get your call sign perfect and practice your call sign. At the same time, record it. Can you copy your call sign? Listen to what it sounds like so you can recognize your call sign coming back to you. That's something else that's very important. But listen to Morse code, real CW, every single day. Get your ear tuned to it. Let your ears start to pick out letters. If you're not sure what to say, if you're getting ready to get on the air and you're getting panicking because you don't know what to say, make a cheat sheet. As I said, POTA is one of the easiest ones because it's a very regulated exchange, right? You know what's coming, you know what the other operator is going to do, and as a result, it's an easy one for you to follow and get your first few contacts out of the way. So I think for most of the students, that's probably where they end up going. You're getting ready to get on the air, have a good understanding and a good knowledge of your numbers, your letters, know how to send and receive SK, one of the pro signs, especially recognize BK, the letters BK sent basically very quickly together, because that will become a key one, not only for POTA, but for other ones. So know that one. Now, when you get ready to get on the air, we go through this key fright, or whatever you want to call it, Morse code fright. It's funny that it's happening now, because when we did this back in 1989, 1990, the USA and Canada, for that matter, had the equivalents of a novice band with novice frequencies. Everyone who was in there was doing somewhere between probably 5 and about 12 words per minute. So nice, slow, easy code. We really didn't worry about it. You just got on the air and went for it. Nowadays, it's this big deal. And I don't know if that's because clubs make it a big deal, or if just in general society has changed and suddenly we're all afraid to go public and make a mistake. Probably a bit of both. So you will be nervous, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's perfectly normal. You're going to make mistakes. Perfectly normal. Everybody on there who's now sending Morse code has made a mistake. Everybody on there has had to go through their first few contacts. So just relax. Couple things. Don't send faster than you can receive. All right, because in Morse code, generally people are going to respond, if they can, at the same speed that you are sending to them. So if you send at 15 words a minute, but you can only copy 10, they're going to answer you at 15. So try and keep your sending in line with how fast you can copy. And again, like I said, record yourself. Take a sheet of paper and send whatever's on that paper. Now see if you can copy yourself. You know, how is your spacing? How are your letters sounding? Are they distinct and clear? These are things you can do before you get on the air. And sure, you're going to get on the air, and you know what? I'll almost guarantee you, your first couple of times, you're going to have a little bit of brain freeze. So if you have a cheat sheet in front of you and you freeze, you can look over and you can pick up where you left off. Just one more way to make those first few contacts that little bit easier. Now, some of the things you can practice on the computer, Morse Code Ninja is excellent. He's got lots and lots of good stuff. Another one you can use is if you're on a website if they have ICR, instant character recognition, you can practice that and practice that and practice that. That will really help you when you're listening to people on the air because your ear will instantly recognize what the letters are. And don't forget, too, once you're on the air, things start to happen. One, you start to relax a little bit. The more contacts you make, I'm going to say if you get 10 to 15 contacts in, let's say over a week, and there's all sorts of different ways and sites you can do it. If you can get 10 or 15 contacts in, you're going to really start to relax and you're going to start to have fun, which is what it's all about. Don't just do one contact and, oh, I'm finished. Put away the key for a week. Force yourself to sit down, maybe do 2 or 3 on your first day. And each time, you're going to relax that little bit more. By the end of a week, like I say, you're going to start to enjoy yourself. Look for various Morse code events that are geared really for newer operators, slower operators. So the K1USN is an excellent one. SKCC, their organization has several over the space of a month where they're geared for slower operators. And like I said, on their schedule page, you can go in and write down QRS, looking for first few contacts. Right, they'll help you out. They're excellent. The LICW Challenge is another one which our club puts on. There's lots of different ones that are set up just for slow speed people. And the sort of unwritten rule, the politeness, if you want, in Morse code, if you hear someone sending slower than what you would normally send and you want to talk to them, you send at their speed. And you get some guy just not going to slow down to your speed. You don't have to talk to him. Just move on to someone else. There's always another one. So never panic that you're not going to be able to keep up with someone. If they won't come down to your speed and they won't make the effort, you don't have to talk to them. There's always someone else out there. So look for some of those events. One of the reasons for doing them is that the exchange that they use is very simple. It's not a very complicated exchange. And again, you can have a cheat sheet. You can make yourself a cheat sheet and follow along. So don't let the code beat you. Study. Learn your numbers. Learn your letters. Learn the key pro signs. And then go for it. Right? That's why we're here. That's why you're studying. So you can get on the air. Now, our club does have a program, which they actually call Get On the Air. That's sort of the mantra for LICWs to get you on the air. You're not going to be on the air at your very first time at 25 words a minute. It's going to be probably 12, 13, 14, maybe 10. It's whatever works for you. Now, they will help you to get on the air. And if you're not part of LICW, then, just go to one of those other sites. Go to the SKCC. For that matter, you can send me a note. And if I can reach you on my antenna, I'm more than happy to help you do your first few contacts. We can always set up a Zoom room, send you a Zoom link, and you can sit there and we can walk you through the whole process to get you on the air for the first time. I don't mind doing that, as long as I can reach you and you can reach me, of course. So there's lots of different things you can do. Lots of things that will be a reward for you after you've done it. In other words, you're going to collect numbers if you're in the SKCC, membership numbers. You get enough of them, you get a reward. If you're doing parks, and one of the main reasons to do parks is they have the Parks on the Air, they have a wonderful uh, award system. So you're constantly being rewarded for your efforts. So that's one that's really good and really motivates you to do it. So there you go. Learn your numbers, learn your letters. And when you're ready, and you don't have to be perfect, make the effort. Get on the air. It's what it's all about. And every one of us has gone through it. So just do it. Get on the air. Keith, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor, Quebec. Wishing you a great day. All right, so this is an actual POTUS script that you can use or you can certainly follow along with. So what you're going to do is listen for someone to be sending CQ and then POTA DE, which is from and their call sign. They may give their park, they may not. What do? You send your call sign just once, see if they pick it up. If they don't pick it up and they're not picking someone else up, you can always send it again. They will answer you with your call sign. And what they're going to say is very, very simple. They're going to say usually good morning or good afternoon, good evening. That's what the GA, GM, GE is. It's the abbreviation. Then they're going to send your RST twice. So you listen for your RST. A lot of the parks will just send 599, but they will abbreviate it as 5NN, the N, letter N replacing the number 9. Some will send the 55N as well. And then at that point, they will send that BK to you. All right, that BK. So you have to learn to recognize that. As soon as they hear the BK, you come back with BK, RR for Roger, Roger, and you do that. Then you send their RST. So usually you can get away, certainly in the beginning, just with 5NN, 5NN. And then in my case, it would be Oscar November for Ontario, but you would put either your state, your province, or your country 2 letters in there. And then you would send BK so they know you're finished. They will then wrap up, and usually they will say at the end anyway, 73 dit with their straight key, and you do the same, just 2 dits with your key, and you're done. And you can log that call. Pretty simple.